Hey everyone, as we finish 2024, obviously this was a year of growth. It was a year that might have been very frustrating for a lot of people. The funny thing is, though, that are the one that gets to determine how you feel about this year, what you learned, and ultimately what it is that's going to either make you successful moving into the next year, into 2025, or if you're just going to take all of that happened this year and you're going to do nothing with it. That being said, I wanted to share with you the three lessons that I've personally picked up and that have led to the most growth this year. I don't want this video to be a very, very long video. Ultimately, I want it to be something that I can look back on and that, if you decide that one of these is very helpful, that you might even be able to share it with somebody, right? So if one of these stands out to you, I'd love to hear if you want to explore it more in the comments, or if you had a separate lesson that has nothing to do with these, if you want to drop it below in the comments as well, so that way it might help somebody else out. I totally love that. The first lesson that I learned personally was that your environment is ultimately what determines your mindset. So a lot of the times we're trying to accomplish these really, really big things, but the people that we're around or the place that we're in doesn't really help us do that. And so let's say that you and your friends, you're all tens in your group, right? Like as far as capability, strength, fitness, the mindset, everything's a 10, but you have one friend that's a 5. And what I mean by that is they tend to go out and do drugs, and they are always getting drunk. They're alcoholics. They can't control their temper. They never go to the gym. They're always eating fast food. You will always be dragged down to that 5. You will never get past that 5, because that person, they'll always say, why do you hang out with that person? Why is it that everybody else has nothing in common with them, but you somehow seem to still always be partying and hanging out, and whenever they come around, they bring fast food and you tend to break your diet, right? The other example is, let's say that you're at a job that's very comfortable for you, but you're not making the money that you want. At that point, even though the job may be good, even though everything about it might be working for you, but if the relationship is toxic, right? If the manager that you have is toxic, then how can you succeed? How can your mindset be in the right place to succeed if you're always being dragged down to that? All right. Number 2 is that everything is your fault. Once you accept that every single issue that you have in your life is your fault, whether that be that you chose to stay at that job, right? You chose to stay at that job even though it wasn't good for you. You chose to keep those people around. Once you determine that you are ultimately responsible for every single piece of your life, whether it be good or bad, because most people are self-made, right? Like every single person is actually self-made when it comes to their success and their failures, but only the successful people are the ones who admit it. But once you start accepting that everything is your fault, then you ultimately now are able to accept that you are the one that's in control. Because everything, even if you're not financially stable right now, right? That's not something that happened in this moment. The economy is not what's messing you up. It's not gas prices. It's that you did not set yourself up properly about a year or two ago. And right now, you're trying to make up for all that time, and you really, really want to start looking at, this is the reason that I'm not the way that I am. It's the government. It's my mom. It's my dad. It's the person that's next to me that doesn't support me. But every single decision that you have made coming up to this point, every single decision that I ever made, was a direct result of bad decisions prior. And the only way that you can make good decisions or be good in the now is to start making those good decisions now, so that way it doesn't mess you up in the future. Okay. Going on to the last one, this is a very, very important one, and I think that you can find different places to apply it, and that's that emotions lie and numbers don't. My friend Angel Sandoval told me this one a while back, and you could take it into finances, you could take it even into health. If you're looking at your finances, you could start applying some of these apps that tell you, hey, you went out to DoorDash and you ate 5 times this week through DoorDash. And then once you start counting the calories, you're like, hey, I went over my calories 2,000 times, even though I feel like I'm skinny, but I can't lose weight. And I feel like I've been trying to lose weight for 3 months. You start looking at the daily calories and you're like, well, that's exactly why, because I can't control myself. Right? If you start looking at your impulsive spends and buys, hey, I've been trying to save money, I've been trying to buy a house, but somehow it hasn't happened over 2 years. Well, yeah, because you're going out and every single weekend you're going out and partying and spending $200 on drinks, on bottle service, and you're wondering why not. Once you start really looking at every single number in your life that can be tracked, the analytics behind it, you'll start noticing that everything that you felt was wrong. You might wake up bloated one morning and say, hey, I know I've been losing weight, but somehow I look worse. You step on the scale, hey, you have lost 5 pounds, but the night before, you went drinking, you had a bunch of sodium, now you're bloated. Your emotions will tell you, hey, you don't look good. The numbers don't lie. So I hope this was helpful. There's a lot more that obviously we can go into. We could explore these for days, months, and we probably could dive really, really deep into them. But if one of these stood out to you, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'd love to hear exactly how you're going to apply it. If I did not mention something that you learned, but you feel as though you have something to add to this, I would love for you to put it down below. There might be somebody who's struggling that your lesson might be able to help. So as much as I want to say, that this is something for engagement, it would be great to engage with you. It would be great to speak with you. But let's go ahead and put our lessons so that way anybody who finds this video or somebody who might be struggling or in need, whether it be now or later, right, because these videos live on forever, I hope that you're able to help somebody as well through the lessons that you learned through this tough year, because it was a very, very tough and it was a very rewarding year. But without us being able to look back at these lessons, then it's really not much that we can do to help others. So I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a blessed one. I don't know when you're watching this. If this is more than 365 days out and you're watching it now, please let me know. But other than that, I hope you stay blessed, and we'll talk soon.